Hello, hello, good evening. Happy Friday. I am so glad for you all to be joining us this evening for Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. So, I would like for you to share and invite this broadcast. We're going to be having a great conversation this evening as we talk to a certified nutritionist talking about wellness and health and how we can stay healthy and maintain our health during this quarantine. And I know some of our cities have opened. So, how can we continue to be healthy and eat healthy and be mindful and just have mental, all around wellness? So we are joined by certified nutritionist. Her name is Darlene Peters. Some people call her D, so we're going to call her D tonight. She is passionate about all things health and wellness and decided to take this passion a bit further and recently became a certified nutrition coach. The name of her business is Deep Wellness NOLA, which is the name of her hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana. Dee is a strong believer in holistic health and wellness and loves to help others align their mind, body, spirit, and soul to achieve optimal health and wellness. She also is a foodie and is grateful that God has led her to align another one of her passions, which is food, with healthy and purposeful living. In fact, her mantra is "You eat to live to love." So let's welcome Dee Peters. Say hi, everyone in the chat. Let's welcome Dee Peters. Hi, Dee.
Hey there, Miranda. Thank you so much for having me here, and hello to everyone who's tuning in.
We are so grateful to have you. During this time, we've been in quarantine for about a month and a half now. People have been talking about going to the refrigerator. They're talking about not really being able to exercise like they want. So we are so glad to have you so you can help us so we can when we come out of this quarantine, we can still be healthy and not be like feeling like we're not the way we should be, right? So,
Absolutely.
tell me about what were you doing before you started your business? Before you started this business?
Can you repeat that for me, Miranda? I had a little bit of a delay. I'm sorry.
No
What
problem.
was the
So,
question?
what's your background prior to you starting this business?
Okay, the funny thing is my background is still my current ground. I'm actually a practicing civil defense attorney here in New Orleans. So my background has been in the legal arena for about the past 22 years.
Hmm.
I have three kids. They're almost grown. So I'm still a practicing attorney, but health and wellness is something that has been tugging at my heart for quite some time. And probably within the last 2 years, I've started taking things to another level through my own personal research and soul searching,
Hmm.
and decided to just move forward with it and learn more about it,
Right.
because I consider myself a constant student. I always like to learn. I always like to learn new things,
Right.
and I've learned so much about myself and about others while doing this and taking this course to obtain this certification. And it's actually a certification in nutrition coaching. So I
Okay.
am still working as a lawyer. I
Okay.
am still being a wife and mom. I am still learning to work from home, and all the while
Right.
juggling this new venture of mine.
That's
And I
awesome.
that I recently became certified. So April 6th was the day I completed the program and received my certification. So I'm still in a baby stage, but I'm growing.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on become recently certified. So, I mean, that just is letting everybody know out there, you know what, regardless of what your career is now, you can have multiple streams of income. You can always pursue other passions that you have. You don't have to always stick with one career. So I know we talked about, you enjoy, you're a foodie and you enjoy helping others with their health and wellness. So where did this passion come from?
Interestingly, it probably developed about a decade ago. I have to be honest. It took some time. About when I turned, I just started to buckle down and become serious about my health, more proactive.
Hmm.
I spent most of the initial stage of my legal career raising kids. I had three kids. My first I had before I even graduated from law school. I became pregnant while in law school. So um, he was born in December of the year I graduated. But to accelerate that forward, I went for so long taking care of other people, which included my kids, taking care of my family,
Right.
that I put myself on the back burner. And through conversations with various people, just in feeling the need to make changes in my own health, I at 40, just again, started taking things to another level. I had a good friend, I have a good friend rather, who got me involved, as well as some other folks involved in running. I never thought I was a runner. I just thought certain people ran, and then I did not think I
Yeah.
was those people. But
Right.
running was, that was new to me. So again, like I said, I like to take on challenges. I decided to just go ahead and try to start training. And before you know it, I started jogging and running. I did my first half marathon in San Francisco, which I don't know if I'd recommend that or not. It was crazy, but again, it was just taking a leap and challenging myself, which
Right.
I think so, particularly as women, we get stuck taking care of others. We get stuck thinking we don't have time. We get
Right.
stuck thinking feel or we're not as important as we should be. And we tend to let things go, which is quite often our health. So
Right.
I wanted to make a change in my life and help the lives of others as well.
Right. Well, I mean, we are so grateful that you decided to take this journey and also encouraging other women, like you said, as mothers, a lot of times as wives, we put ourselves on the back burner. We neglect our health a lot of times. We neglect, our overall well being because we want to be there for others. But, we can't, if we're not well ourselves, how can we be there for others, right? If we're not whole, if we're not healed, if we're not happy, we're projecting that negativity onto others. So it's good for us as mothers, as women, to be healthy and then share that journey with our families. So how do you, I know you mentioned something about being holistic. How do you incorporate the holistic approach to your health and wellness practice?
Well, the holistic approach basically means that what we try to do is align everything that's going on in a person's life. So you align your
Mhm.
mind, body, soul, spirit, because you can't have success in one area and I have all the other areas or area not working.
Right,
Something is going to give, something is not going to work. So all of these areas need to be in some type of alignment. Uh,
right.
Sometimes that's working with someone to figure out what's going on in their personal life. It could be something going on in their professional life. It could be the
Mhm.
they have or don't have. Uh,
Right.
Typically, we all fall into some type of category where there's some area in our lives where we're suffering from some kind of deficiency and it's overlapping to us being able to achieve either optimal mental health, optimal physical health, optimal spiritual health. And so the holistic approach is to try to break down those barriers, get
Hmm.
a client, have a client develop a rapport and trust with you so that you can help them with that, with recognizing some of the things that trigger certain behaviors.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because holistic is a very delicate area because again, you want people to open up to you, and
Right.
often you can still get them to open up um, even without revealing a lot of uh, personal details. But they have to be able to they have to be willing to allow you to let them in or for you to be let in so that you can help them because sometimes it may be that you have to refer them to someone else who can help them professionally before you can even begin to tackle some of their other issues. So
And that's awesome because it sounds like to me it's a little bit of counseling in there, where you're having to really help them to understand, that it's a mind, body, and soul approach. Like it's a working machine. Everything works together in order for us to be whole and happy and to maintain, a healthy lifestyle. So it's not just one thing or the other. It's like you said, it's a holistic thing. It's a package deal, right? And so,
yeah,
how do you go about that when you're talking to your clients? How do you go about that? Do you ask them questions? Is it like an interview style? Do you like spend some time together? Do you do consultations? How do you do that?
sure. Usually, the first thing you do is you have a call to try to figure out what the person's goals are.
Hmm.
It's helpful to know what you're trying to do because some people are just trying to figure out ways to eat better. Some people are trying to
Right.
incorporate physical activity into their routine. Some people are just trying to figure out how to fit the time in. So it depends, first of all, on what the client's needs are. But it
Hmm.
usually a conversation
Right.
that can last from 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Okay.
And from there, you try to target what's going on with this person. Again, on that first call, I don't always expect to be able to find out everything I need to know, but people,
Right.
you pick up on things and you learn what people are fighting with and struggling with. And the good thing is that as human beings, we are all more alike than we are different.
Right.
So chances are you will someone will tell me something that I either have experienced or that I know about. So
Right.
it's of the times there's nothing that I've not heard that I can't make some type of connection to. So I use my own personal insight and experiences to guide and shape a strategy plan to figure out, okay, this is where I think we can get some help for you, or this is where I think your areas of deficiency are. And it's a process.
Right.
And one thing that's a challenge is we're in a bit of a microwave society where people expect,
Right.
I tell everybody, it's going to take longer than 21 days. I don't care what you're working on. I
Right.
don't want to develop. If you're trying to be great and make strides in any area, and I'm not knocking anyone's plans
Right.
it is going to take more than 21 days, because a lot of times what we're undoing are patterns of behavior that we've adopted for years. And
Right.
often what happens is it catches up to us at a point where we just feel like we're ready to just bottom out. And
Right.
we're overloaded with information, and we
Right.
have enough of the good information. So you're struggling with balance, figuring out how to tackle your problem,
Right.
and being able to sort through what's credible. So that's part of where I come in, as a coach slash mentor. And the approach that I have, I call it centering, which is a combination of coaching and mentoring, because
Okay.
you do need somebody to just guide you and tell you what to do. And then
Mhm.
sometimes somebody to literally hold your hand. You have to meet people where,
Right.
and we're all in different spaces. So
Right. And that's so awesome because you're able to pretty much you're holding them accountable, but that you're also providing them the support that they need. Because, like you said, you don't know what their journey has been, you don't know where they are, and they come to you because they need help. They don't know what to do. They've never done this before, or they've tried and it wasn't successful. So it's like, okay, now I need a coach. Now I need somebody to push me, to encourage me, and to just say, hey, this is what you need to do. Have you found a lot of resistance when you're trying to really help people, because they're stuck in their ways, right? They've been doing this for 20
right.
years. So have you found a lot of resistance with people?
The funny thing is, you don't find resistance. People are willing to hear an objective point of view and to tackle their problem. And a lot of times they run out of ideas. So they are
Okay.
willing and open-minded and ready to accept your suggestions.
Right.
Problem always comes, and that's with any area, is implementation, action, execution, accountability, and discipline. So
Right.
again, that's where I come in, because quite often we fall off because we don't have anybody to hold us accountable. And often it's ourselves, and we just
Mhm.
don't do a good job of that. Unfortunately, there are some people who are disciplined and who
Right.
can pull it off. But for the most part, when you're juggling a lot of demands, stress,
Right.
you need somebody to really step in and say, hey, let's work on this. Let's come up with a plan. Let's meet periodically. Let's talk about,
Right.
let's gauge where you are. Let's assess where you are. And the funny thing is, for me, is my goal as a coach slash mentor is for you to get to a point where you don't need me. So,
Okay.
but
Hmm.
again, that's a process. I mean, I
Right.
to be able to, for someone to say, you know what, I got it. I can run with it.
Right.
Maybe I'll come back to you if I need some help. But my ultimate goal is to get you where you are, where you need to be, and you don't
Hmm.
necessarily need D anymore.
Right. And that's good. You want them to be self-sufficient, right? You want them to say, you know what, she helped me with this, deep wellness helped me with this. And so I'm going to refer you because it was successful for me. Now it's successful for someone else. So, a lot of times with this type of business, it seems like it's like word of mouth or like referrals. So how has your marketing been for your business? How do you market your business?
Well, the funny thing is, you don't count out people like your friends and colleagues. And
Right.
I will tell you, as soon as I announced that I became certified, I had a few people reach out to me to say, I really need your help. Most
Oh,
people didn't know what I was doing. They knew that I had a passion for health and wellness. They knew I was pretty diligent about taking care of myself, but they did not
right.
know studying and practicing to get ready for this certification. So again, that's why I tell you, we're all more alike than we are different. So people recognize, okay,
Right.
why am I not where I want to be? And something, your gut, you should always go with your gut. Your gut will tell you something is not working for me and I don't quite know what it is. I can't put my
Right.
finger. Quite often it's the mindset. And that's
Mhm.
what
Right.
intrigued me doing health and wellness coaching was, I don't necessarily do personal training. That's not my area, but
Right.
I'm intrigued by the mind. What makes
Mhm.
us make the decisions or not make the decisions that we should be making in our lives. So
Right.
that's what was key to me, was really just trying to get into someone's head and figure out, you know what, we can change this, we can work on it. Are you
Right.
ready? Yes. Are you willing? Yes. Are you able? Yes. But how committed are you? And
Right.
where people fall off again, as I said before. So you have to get them inspired. You have to get them to
Mhm.
believe it's possible. You have to get them to
Right.
understand it's a process. So
Right.
for
And
the
then
process, and
right. And it also it's like you said, what's the mindset like? Do they have a healthy mind? Do they have a lot of baggage? What's hindering them from getting the help that they need? Like you said, maybe it's some traumatic events that they've experienced throughout their life. Maybe it's some a divorce or a loss or something like that. So when we get to the root of it, then we're able to be like, okay, this is what you can start doing going forward. So I know you mentioned before that you refer them out to seek other help. What other help do you refer them to?
it just depends on what they're looking for. Sometimes someone may need to consult a psychiatrist.
Uh,
And we need to get out of the mindset that seeking therapy and seeking treatment, that there's something wrong with that. It's
right.
quite, when there's a problem, you need to be able to seek out the
Yeah.
appropriate professionals to help you with the problem.
Right.
So not necessarily part of me is it is somewhat pseudo counseling, but
Hmm.
I'm really not allowed to counsel. So I
Right.
work with someone, but ultimately, if there is an underlying issue that requires more treatment, more than what I can provide, then I'm obligated to tell you, I think you need to seek therapy or seek counseling for this.
Right.
So the funny thing is, once you start on a path of following in your purpose, people come into your life, and sometimes you don't know why. But I
Yeah.
have been blessed to come across a number of people who I've been
Hmm.
connect with, who are supportive. So if someone
Right.
needed a referral to a psychic, and most of the times it's either psychiatrist, psychologist, um,
Hmm.
have people that I would feel comfortable referring to.
Right.
Medical, that is a different arena, because I'm not allowed to treat someone medically. So
Right.
I don't interfere with anyone's medical advice. So if someone comes and tells me that they have high blood pressure and the doctor has
Hmm.
prescribed medication, then I'm not going to say don't take the medication. I may say, okay, the ultimate goal is to get your pressure manageable. I can
Right.
do with that, but I'm not going to interfere with the medical advice that someone has been given. But I also want people to realize that quite often doctors are treating conditions and symptoms, and not necessarily working on healing or
The root
resolve.
of it.
Sometimes they either expect the patient to make some lifestyle changes
Right.
to heal or treat themselves, but
Hmm.
that has not been the traditional role of your typical medical doctor. So,
Right. Because a
mhm,
lot of times, like I was mentioning before, it's something deeper a lot of times, and why they may be going through this uh, downward spiral of maybe negative health or
mhm,
diabetes, high blood pressure, stress, any type of mental challenges. So
yes,
there could be an underlying, and that's good that you're able to refer. And me being a counselor, um, it has been a lot of times taboo as far as
mhm,
getting treatment and getting help, or especially with different ethnicities and different things like that. So as
right.
everyone out there, if you need help, please seek professional help. If you need to get some support, please do that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And our audience out there today, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And please tag and share. This is some great information. If you know someone who's trying to get healthy, someone who wants to become healthier, or just get some tips, from a certified nutritionist, please tag them and share. Have a start a watch party. You can hashtag B Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour BGCHH. So hashtag and share. So, Dee, I would like to ask you another follow-up question. So, what what makes your business unique? Deep wellness. What makes your business stand out from the rest?
Interestingly, with this business is we have seen, I'm sure we have all seen the news reports as far as COVID, how it relates to minorities who are apparently perishing more at a higher rate than
Hmm.
other cities, particularly Caucasian. So there is such a need in our community,
Right.
particularly our women.
Hmm.
But We are lacking in resources. We are lacking in professionals who can provide this assistance. So the unique thing I think about me is that to your whoever our viewing audience is right now, I've probably been where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Have not even been that long ago, where I'm struggling with issues, not quite sure how to deal with it, and just
Right.
like there was someone in the health and wellness arena that
Mm-hmm.
I connect with. So that's
Right.
what's unique about me um, is I am that woman. Um,
Right.
again, life has not been perfect for me. I've had recent struggles. I've had struggles that were far away. So what you see is just again a health journey, and
Mm-hmm.
I am confident that I can help others along the way because I say it time and time again, we are so much more alike than we are different. And we also have a
Right.
tendency to look from the outside in and think that someone's world is so perfect. But
Right.
everyone is struggling or has struggled with something severe at some point. And
Right.
typically once at least you get to our age, maybe, in the 30 to 50,
Mm-hmm.
if there's been some traumatic event, such as you said. And unfortunately, what happens is it's not addressed. So
Right.
that continues to play a role in everything. It could be something that even happened in your childhood that has not been
Right.
addressed, that you've allowed to invade your personal relationships, your professional
Right.
relationships, decision making when it comes to your finances, um, everything. So
Right.
that's why I'm here to try to be a sounding board so that I could refer people
Mm-hmm.
who uh, have issues that have been maybe even unaddressed for decades, but you can't
Right.
overcome it. You just have to believe that you can heal.
Right. And we also, and it's good to be relatable. People a lot of times are not going to take any advice if they're saying, oh, well, she's never been through anything. She doesn't know. But it's good that you're able to be relatable and say, I've gone through struggles and we all have different struggles, but we also know that we can overcome them. You can be a testimony and saying, yes, I've had some struggles as well, but I've overcome them. So, if an audience, again, if you all have any questions, please post your questions
Mhm.
for Dee. She will be happy to answer them so she can support you all on this journey of wellness and health. So let's switch gears a little bit. We've been talking about mental health and just your mind and wholeness. So you were mentioning being a foodie. So how does this food journey really incorporate in your business? I know you're a nutritionist, so give us some more information about that.
Well, the thing is, good health is a combination of a number of factors, but nutrition is huge.
Hmm.
We know this. We have to. The funny thing is, you still have to have a combination of fats, carbs, and proteins in your diet.
Right,
You should have good fats and lean and healthy proteins and good carbs. So that's
right,
where people get confused about um, some of these diets where you're restricted from having food that is actually good for you.
right.
And I will be quite honest and tell you the only diet that I have ever done, the only structured diet program that I did was Weight Watchers. And that was in 1999 after I had my first child. And I'm not knocking Weight Watchers. I'm not knocking any program, but it was just a lot for me to keep up with.
Right,
Um, you're juggling again. You're juggling personal demands, professional demands, and now I have to do this and do that. It
right.
becomes a challenge, so people tend to fall off.
Hmm.
So goal was okay. Well, how can I figure out how to eat healthy, be healthy without having it consume me? Because I want it to just be second nature. I want to be able to make decisions, and I want to be able to go to the grocery store and sometimes you would see I would see these recipes and I didn't recognize what the ingredients were. I had no clue. But good health doesn't have to be a mystery. And there's
Right,
a lot of good options in the grocery stores. You don't always have to go to the expensive health food type stores to get things that are good for you. But it's all about making choices. It's
hmm,
all about moderation and figuring out what your goals and needs are and balancing all that. And
right,
it's about incorporating healthy snacks. I'm a frequent eater, so I'm nibbling all throughout the day, but I'm making sure I'm nibbling on fruit and nuts and
hmm,
yogurt, trying to drink water,
right,
stay sugary juices. So I have my
right.
vice. I think we all do, but
Yeah,
it's about trying to figure out, okay, how can I incorporate some nuts into my diet? And I tend to add things like nuts and fruits to salads.
right,
I,
right.
I try to, if I snack healthily throughout the day, then I tend to not overeat at night, or I
Okay.
tend I remain full. So I don't make the bad choices when it comes to food. Now, again, do I fall off? Yes. But because I've managed to eat healthy and
Mhm.
make consistent exercise routine, I don't guilt myself when I do fall off. I just say, okay, you
Right.
had this last night, you can't have it tomorrow.
Right.
And
We're not
sometimes
gonna have it
you
every
just have
night.
you're not going to have it every night. It's about simple decisions.
Right.
So that's part of what I like to try to do, is to help people just make simple decisions.
Right.
Another rule for me is I don't buy it. So sometimes I do obviously buy snacks. I have kids in the house and a husband, and I have my own uh, tendencies for certain snacks.
Right.
The problem is, once you put it in the house, you're going to eat it. So
Right.
to just try not to buy it. And
Right.
one thing I've also done is I'm a bulk shopper. I love going to Sam's.
Right.
What you should do sometimes when you do the bulk shopping, if I have any bulk shoppers in the audience, don't buy the unhealthy snacks in
Right.
bulk.
In bulk.
If you just have to have it, just go to the grocery store and get smaller versions. So sometimes
Right.
also you can't have make drastic changes, because then you get discouraged and you fall back
Mhm.
ways. But if you
Right.
make little changes, it will lead to long lasting good decisions. So
And that's a great tip, making small changes. My weakness is sweet. So, I always have something sweet in my house. So I understand what you're saying in moderation. So give us an example of what you eat in a day. Share with us things that you eat in a day.
sure. My morning, I will be honest, my morning usually starts with some type of coffee or tea as I'm reading
Okay.
my word. And but I also try to drink some water in the morning. And I drink small amounts of water throughout the day,
Okay.
just because it helps me. I try to drink some water at the top of every hour. And it's particularly challenging for me now that I'm working from home, because when I was
Right.
at, for me, when I was working at the office, it was somewhat of a recreation. It was a moment to go to the kitchen and fill up my glass of water. You would see
Right.
somebody away or see somebody in the kitchen, and you start a dialogue. But now that I'm locked up in this room, so to speak, I tend to just not refill and get my water. But water is a necessity.
Essential. Yeah.
Water benefits you literally from head to toe. Your brain is 75 to 80% water. So your brain needs water to function properly. And sometimes
Right.
we lose focus and we're tired and we can't think in our mind. Sometimes it's just that we're dehydrated and we don't recognize the symptoms.
Right.
Um, your intestines need water. And
Hmm.
the thing is with hydration, the only way to hydrate is through drinking water and maybe some low calorie, low sugar electrolytes.
Okay.
You have to have that, has to be in balance in order for your body to function.
Right.
We've all sometimes been hungry and you've been able to kind of trick yourself into not eating or telling yourself, okay, I can wait 30 minutes. Now,
Right.
you really cannot do that with dehydration, and it's actually very
Mhm.
dangerous. So the
Okay.
only way to resolve dehydration is to hydrate.
Right. So do
So
you believe
the
in
water
like
helps to fill you up.
I know some people say drinking half your body weight of water. What do you think about that? Is that something that people should be doing?
That's a good amount to start with. You can drink half of your body weight, but also keep in mind a lot of fruits and veggies have high water content. So
Okay.
if you're adding fruits and veggies in your diet, you're probably also getting some additional water that'll help.
Right. Right.
One thing I found that helps me is I try to infuse my water to just give it a little bit of flavor and
Yeah.
jazz. So I'll slice oranges and put it in my water,
Hmm. Okay.
strawberries, cucumber, anything to just give it a
A little
different.
bit of zazz.
Yes.
And I was going to mention that too. I usually put like mint and cucumbers
Mhm.
or lemon, like you were saying, some oranges or something to make it jazzy. But you're getting a little bit of sweetness or flavor without
Yes,
having soda or any type of juices with a lot of artificial flavors and stuff like that.
absolutely.
So I have
Absolutely.
a question about because I mentioned before that I like to eat sweets. What do you recommend for someone who could try to maybe cut back on eating a lot of sweets, especially during this time when you're bored. We're sitting around the house watching TV.
I
So
know.
yeah.
I know, I know. Well, again, first rule of thumb is to if you're buying, I'm assuming they get into your house from you picking them up at the grocery store.
Right.
So we want to first minimize the amount of sweets we bring into the home.
Right.
The problem is we get sugar in so many different other foods. I mean, sugar is in everything. It's in ketchup, barbecue sauce, salad dressing, juices.
Right.
It's everywhere. So when
Hmm.
you crave that extra sugar, just think of it as that's your body and mind telling you you're addicted to sugar and you need this to feel better. So
Right.
just be a health gangster and say, you know what? No, I'm not into this sugar. It,
Right.
it's going to my midsection. Sugar goes to your midsection. That visceral fat is what they call it, which can
Okay.
diabetes. And I'll share a personal story with you. I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I was to me in pretty good health, but the doctor told me, "Oh, your levels came back. You're pre-diabetic."
Oh, wow.
I was very shocked by that.
Hmm.
Um, but she literally all she told me was, well, just watch what you eat and watch sugars. I mean, she really couldn't give me anything that I felt empowered with when I walked out of the
Right.
office because I already thought, well, I thought that's what I was doing. Um,
Hmm.
sugar is hidden in so many things that again,
Right.
a lot of times you're feeding the addiction and not
Hmm.
necessarily that, okay, I want this piece of cake or I want this cookie. It's like you
Right.
said, now that you recognize that you might have a sugar craving. And again, you may have to wean yourself off of it. You may just need to reduce it. Maybe you have 2 cookies instead of 4. Um,
Right.
whatever your vice
Like
is,
our
buy
tie.
the mini Snickers instead of the big Snickers,
Right.
but smaller amounts because you have to just gradually incorporate
Right.
lifestyle changes in there because when you just try to go hard and go cold turkey, sometimes it's
You fall off the wagon.
you fall off the wagon real quick and you're like, well,
Right.
let me get back on.
Let me eat this tub of ice cream because I know a lot. And like you said, a lot of times, with me, it could be emotional eating or bored.
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
bored. So let me go in here and grab a snack or something like that. So, what do you suggest to your clients a lot of times when they eat emotionally or out of boredom? What do you suggest to them that they do in order to combat that?
Again, we have to pick up some fruit. Try to make sure you have some healthy snacks around all the time. So even if you do even if you do like to nibble while you're watching TV, you're nibbling on nuts, which have
Something healthy.
a lot of essential fatty acids. Nuts are good for your brain. Um,
Hmm.
again,
Okay.
it's really going to boil down to what do I have in the house to eat? Because
Okay.
sometimes when you're whether you're hungry or not, you're going to open up that cabinet, you're going to open up that fridge, and whatever jumps out at you, you're going to
You're
grab.
gonna eat it, right?
Stock it appropriately, then you don't necessarily have to worry about what are my choices, am I picking something wrong?
Right.
And I think I went off on a tangent because you asked what I typically eat in a day. So I do try to start off my day with some fruit, some yogurt, water, and I try to just have a fruit bowl where I'm nibbling on grapes,
Okay.
bananas, um, just anything that's easy to eat. Slice up some apples,
Okay.
put apples or grapes, put any fruit that you like in your salads as well. And
Okay.
um, again, I'm munching throughout the day, but it's typically on fruit. I'm not a big vegetable eater, I will admit, but I do like to eat raw veggies. So carrot
Okay.
sticks, um, cauliflower, things like that. I find
Right.
easier for me to nibble on. So try to figure out what you like to nibble on. Some people like hard and crunchy. Some people like
Mhm.
things that are cooked and
Right.
steamed. So if you just figure out what works for you, then you just need to incorporate it in your diet as well.
Right.
And smoothies are big.
Right.
Smoothies are easy. My daughter
Okay.
has been in various smoothies for me since we've been home and has been
Okay.
experimenting with fresh fruit. So that has helped.
Okay.
And any type of low protein shake can be helpful. If
Right.
out there are trying to, if you find yourself sometimes suffering with cravings and you're
Hmm.
hungry, but not quite hungry, try a protein shake. You can maybe
Okay.
substitute a meal for a protein shake, and the protein will help you to build muscle. So you can
Right.
add of nut milk, you can use them with water, you can put some fresh fruit in it and make a
Right.
smooth mixture. But protein shakes I find have helped me a lot when I'm suffering with some of those hunger pains and want something sweet.
Right. And then they fill you up too. That protein fills you up, and it's just, like you said, it's a better option sometimes. So do you
Hmm.
recommend, like, so if people find themselves snacking late at night, And I know you were saying, hey, make sure you stock your shelves with, healthy foods. But is it still healthy if you're still eating all throughout the night, like you're still eating until like 10 or 11 o'clock? What do you have a cutoff time that you recommend?
I would say 2 hours before bedtime is a good time to stop snacking.
Okay.
Um, that's going to be different for everyone. I'm an early bird, I will tell you. So my normal bedtime is 9 to 9:30 or so, and so I usually stop snacking between 7 and 8.
Okay.
Um, that leads me also to the resting and the sleep. So also figure out whether you're getting enough sleep. Sleep is a huge factor in health and wellness.
Okay.
So staying up late, watching TV,
Mm-hmm.
and not allowing your body to properly rest, that could be an issue. Um, so sometimes the snack eating, especially late at night, why? You have to
Right.
ask yourself, am I doing this?
Right.
Um, and take inventory of what you're doing.
Right. And we have a question that says, and this should be, what would you recommend someone to do if they never had good eating habits? What's the best way to shop for healthier options?
Good question, because if you never had healthy eating habits or good eating habits, you have to figure out, why don't I have these habits? Sometimes it's upbringing. Sometimes we just tend to do what our parents cooked or how they cooked.
Right.
Or is it your lifestyle? Are you working 12 hours a day, and by the time you get home, you're just too tired to cook and have good meals handy, and you're picking up fast food? So I would suggest,
Mhm.
person, let's figure out why you don't have good eating habits and
Right.
see what we can do to work a plan from there. One thing I like to do personally is, when I do my bulk shopping at Sam's or Costco's, and I'm buying things like salad mix, and even when I'm cooking,
Right.
find if I place the leftovers or even make fruit salads or regular salads and place them in my fridge in those meal prep containers,
Mm-hmm.
um, we tend to waste less food, because
Right.
all you have to do is grab it, eat it. You can grab it to go for lunch, to work. You can grab it to go as a snack. So
Right.
I think one thing you can do is figure out, what can I do to make good meals readily accessible to me. So for that
Mm-hmm.
person, I'd be interested in having more of a conversation with her, if she wouldn't mind, just to figure out what's going on, and why she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't think she has good eating habits. I'm encouraged that she recognizes this.
Right.
The problem would be, well, not the problem, but the issue would be, let's tackle it and figure out what we can do to
Get you back on track.
get
Right.
you back on track. It's doable. It's doable. I promise you. For no matter what your situation is, good eating, good health is possible.
It's
It's
possible.
just a process.
Right. It's a journey. It's not, like you said, it's not microwave. It's not going to happen overnight. And like you said, it's not going to even sometimes happen in 21 days. It can take months, to undo any type of damage or any type of unhealthy eating mindsets that we may have developed
Right.
over the years. So, tips can you give us, our audience? What tips can you give us? I mean, you provided us with so many awesome nuggets of information. Um, do you have any last minute tips for us, or anything you would like to share with our audience tonight about eating healthy, and what can we do in this quarantining to just maintain our overall health, like you said, a holistic health?
Yes, yes. The first, and one point I wanted to go back to that I didn't get a chance to say before, it slipped my mind, but stress is a
Hmm.
huge culprit.
Yeah.
It impedes our mental health, our physical health, and that is also one of the reasons why I started to develop this strong passion for health and wellness, because there was a doctor who I befriended several years ago. She
Mhm.
and I are the same age, and she just seemed to have what I thought was the perfect life, from the outside looking in. She had a beautiful family, thriving medical practice, and she unfortunately developed breast cancer.
Mhm.
And I spoke with her. We had several conversations. The one thing that I always remember her telling me was, she had traced her family history, she had studied everything, and the only thing that she could come up with as the culprit was stress. And
Mm.
hit me, because again, to me, she had a perfect life. She's a doctor, her husband's a doctor, they're
Yeah.
doing well. And initially my first thought was, what stress do you have? But
Right.
again, you can't presume that everything is smooth on the inside just from what we see.
Right.
Um, and again, certainly managing a practice and a family is
Hmm.
stressful in and of itself.
Right.
And she had to take a break, obviously, from her practice for a while.
Hmm.
She underwent chemo. Um, at some point, she did recover, and she and I were supposed to connect. And I have to add that we don't live in the same city, so distance was an issue with the two
Right.
of us. We had promised to connect and get together with each other. I sent her some books to read while she was recovering,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, the breast cancer returned, and she died about 3 years ago.
Okay.
So that, again, like I said, I think people cross our paths for a reason,
Right.
and that happened. I just vowed, you can't have a perfect life. We all know
Yeah.
that we don't live in a perfect world, but
Right.
I vowed that I was not going to allow stress to overcome me, and
Right.
try to allow stress to overcome any of my friends and family, anybody who I thought I could help overcome that stress demon. I was just on a mission to to combat it and make it not happen for someone else.
Right.
So again, this is from a medical doctor. So guys, the stress is real. Stress can wreak havoc on your system. So you have to get a hold and be able to manage the stress.
Right. And in order to manage stress, like we're incorporating maybe some meditation, some
Mhm.
quiet time at home, especially now that we're in our homes, we can sit quietly, listen to some music, relax, take a bubble bath, do some reading, candles, go for a walk. Just I mean, a lot of times, because I know I mentioned to a friend, I didn't think I was stressed, but I had like my heart was skipping a beat or something. And I was like, oh my goodness, and it could be stress. You don't think you're stressed. You're sitting here and you're just working from home, but you don't realize there's other things around you because what we're going through, we're living a trauma right now. We're going through a traumatic
Yes,
season in our lives. The whole country is, right? So you may think you're handling it well, but sometimes, there's some things that's going on and we just haven't really been honest with ourselves and addressed it. So I think that's a
yes,
time to take a self check, a self inventory to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I just need to walk away or step away for a few minutes from my
mhm,
desk, do some breathing, go for a walk outside, and just sit quietly and pray, or just don't think
yes.
about anything. It's always good to do that because you just never know what can be attacking your mind or your body, and you're just not addressing it.
Right, right. And that's called mindfulness. So mindfulness is just taking a
Right.
break, detaching, and doing whatever you need to do, whether that's walking, whether that's just
Right.
doing nothing, whether that's closing your eyes for a second. Because what one thing that we've all become guilty of is multitasking.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the brain is not wired for multitasking.
Oh,
So don't brag on multitasking. That's not a
oh,
good
because I
thing.
know I was like, I can
No,
multitask, so
no,
that's
no,
not
you
a good
can't.
thing. Okay.
And the reason why is this: wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you need to be all in. So when
Okay.
you multitask,
Good.
something is not getting your attention,
Right. That's true.
and your brain cannot process and occupy more than one thought at a time.
Hmm.
You can't type an email and have a phone conversation. How often? I mean, and we're all guilty of it. We do it.
Right. We
That's
do it. Right.
what we're supposed to do. We have so much going on.
Right.
You need to figure out what's important, what's pressing. Okay, let me type the email and get
Let
back
me
to you
take
on the
care of this. Right.
vice versa. Our brains were not designed to multitask. So if there is a way you can stop doing that, that alone will help you. And one of the things I've been told a group is your to-do list. We all have pages and pages of
Right.
lists.
Right.
Try to limit your to-do list. If obviously if you're juggling work and personal demands, that's different. But for
Right.
work, I keep my to-do list to 3 or 4 things that have to get
Mhm.
done during the day. So
Right.
these are the 3 or 4 things. And the reason why I leave it at 3 or 4 is because I have 5 fingers on my hand. So
Hmm.
I want to be able to my hand and cross off, okay, I know I've done this, this, this.
Right.
I can't do it with 10 fingers and 10 toes. It's not going to get done. At the end of the day, you'll feel so defeated. And
Right.
again, it's fine. That's going to impact your next day. So keep your
Exactly.
manageable,
Hmm.
figure out what has to be done, figure out what can be delegated, figure out, again, what what do I need to do? And if you have a to-do list of 20 things,
That's too
then we
many.
really, that's just too many. That's too many
Right.
to make.
Wow.
You're gonna,
Right. And we don't want to burn out, right? We don't want to have this burnout mentality. We don't want to burn out in life and just give up. Because a lot of times that's when people start to give up, or just like you said, I'm not going to try, I'm not going to do this. And again, audience, if you all have any questions, please answer, because this is your opportunity to get some free advice about health and wellness from this certified nutritionist, Dee Peters. She is just dropping some amazing nuggets on tonight. So if you have any questions before we wrap it up, please feel free to drop your comments and questions in the chat. So I just want to, so this is not part of the questioning, but you have beautiful skin. So why don't you share with our
oh,
bougie girls out there, how do you maintain your skin? Because I know you mentioned your age and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Well, and you look
yeah,
amazing. You look amazing.
thank
So
you. Thank you.
share
Thank you. Yes,
some of
I am a
your,
proud member of the 50 and Up Club. I turned 50
yes,
Thanksgiving Day 2019.
you look
And
great.
I'm glad you asked that, because that's a huge question and is a big problem, particularly among the African American community, is sunscreen. I
Mm,
am a proponent of sunscreen because the sun it's a wonderful thing, but it can also do a lot of damage. So before you go out for these walks and these runs and these bike rides that you've probably added to your routine, make sure you have the sunscreen, particularly on the areas that are exposed. So your face, your arms, anything that's exposed. And again, it goes back to water. Um,
right.
that water is such an essential element
Hmm.
that you cannot survive without it. So
Right.
try to drink water as you can. It helps flush a lot of those impurities out of your system, and water is one of your best friends, I have to tell you. So those are probably, really, quite honestly, the only two things that I do. Again, a big believer in sunscreen. I
Hmm.
have a friend who has an all natural line of hair and skincare products that I've been using, and when I tell you all natural is the way to go. I don't have any I don't even own foundation. But I try to minimize the makeup, and particularly as I get older, I find myself wearing less makeup.
Right.
But again, good health. When your health is good, you will have good hair, you will have good skin. It will show. Your body has ways of letting you know when something's out of
Right.
line and not in alignment. So that's one of the benefits of having good health.
And you have beautiful hair and beautiful skin.
Thank
What's the
you.
name of
Thank
your friend's line of products?
and yeah, my friend she is my spiritual sister. We are church members. We've developed a strong friendship over the years. Her name is Denitria, and her line is called Earth Oil. And she has a
Oh,
variety of products that you can literally use from head to toe. I use them.
wow.
I use them on my skin. My kids use them. She has a beautifying mist. I
Wow.
keep
Okay.
her. She has scrubs, and I can get you her information in case
Yes,
any of
ma'am.
viewers want. Especially with Mother's Day coming up, and you might not be able to.
Yes, right.
We can help you
Exactly.
get the Mother's Day gifts. Um,
Yes,
called Earth Oil again, and it's everything is all natural, so you can use her products anywhere on your body, your lips. They all natural. As I promise you, I'm telling you, it's the way to go these days. So
that's awesome. So,
I don't go to the beauty counter. I don't go to the department stores. I'm not knocking anybody's products or
right.
lines, but these are just some things that I've learned over the years.
Awesome. So earth oils, everyone. So if you want to know how Dee keeps that skin so beautiful and amazing after joining the 50 Club, she admitted, some women don't like to talk about their age, but you look
Yeah.
amazing. And so earth oils and just a lot of water and sunscreen. And that is so important because we feel like because we have a lot of melanin, we don't need the sunscreen, but sun ages your skin. Sun
Hmm.
wears and tears on our skin, just like our cars. Just imagine your car sitting out there, and over time, if your car is not protected, it gets faded and rusty, and it just looks really bad. Your paint starts to wear. I believe
Hmm.
that's the way our skin is. If we're out there in the elements and we're not
Yeah.
taking care of our skin, it starts to show, the wear and the tear. So someone asked, how do you implement and maintain healthy eating habits with young children, picky eaters? That's a great
Mm,
question.
that's a good question. The funny thing with kids is yeah, they're hungry enough, they will eat it. just get them to try it. Use some incentive. I don't want to say money or anything, but just maybe say, you know what, if you give this a try, you might like it. We'll spend another 5 to 10 minutes outside.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would also say is spinach is another powerhouse veggie. So spinach can be mixed in, make smoothies for your kids. I think smoothies are a really good option, and maybe um, freeze them so they can have them either fresh out of the blender or frozen. And spinach is one of those ingredients that you can put in a smoothie and it goes virtually undetected.
Right.
So got to
Mm-hmm.
figure out your kids what veggies, what fruits and veggies they're lacking. I know the good thing is most kids like fruit. So one thing I would say, if they're big fruit eaters but not veggie eaters, try to just load them up with fruit. The dessert can be fruit. Their side items can be fruit. So I would approach it that way. Sometimes forcing it on kids, they won't eat it for years. It just backfires.
Yeah.
But typically get them involved in the meal prep process. So maybe if they see it made, they're willing to try it if they had a hand in fixing the meal. So that
Right.
would go.
That's
Mm-hmm.
great.
Or if I could follow up on what you said, you were talking about how we take care of our cars. Most of us take better care of our cars than we do of our own health.
You are
Um,
right.
that car is running because we have to pay for
Wow.
that car. That car needs to get us to and from work,
Exactly.
but we neglect our bodies. And one thing I
Exactly.
will say is that I can't make any guarantees or promises with your health.
Right.
I can't say that, oh yes, I will get you in the best shape of your life. You will be
Right.
fine. You won't ever. I can't. Certain guarantees I can't make. But
Right.
one thing I can guarantee is that you work towards good health and you achieve it to some level, it opens up so many doors of opportunities for you, because you
Right.
won't do anyone, including yourself, any good if you can't function as a healthy, productive human being.
Right.
Particularly moms out there who are caregivers to so many.
Right. And when with eating healthy, like you said, prevents a lot of diseases and just different things when we become ill and different things like that. When you're incorporating the smoothies, and because I would never eat spinach prior to having smoothies, and you can put
Mm-hmm.
spinach and banana together in a smoothie with some protein powder, like you said, is pretty much undetectable. That
Mm-hmm.
banana kind of smooths it out, and you add different berries and different things like that. So that is a great tip. So as we
Mm-hmm.
conclude this amazing interview, I am so grateful that you agreed to come on and share this information with everyone. So,
Thank
our
you.
channel is called Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. So this is an hour of happiness. We may not have our cocktails and our food, but we're having an hour of empowerment and happiness, and just sharing resources with women. And the acronym for Bougie is being bold and one of a kind, unbothered, a God's girl, intentional and elegant. So Dee, how are you a bougie girl?
Oh goodness. Well, the funny thing is, for those who know me well, I'm not bold, but you give me something that I'm passionate about, and I can just be a bold person. I can be on fire for it. And one thing I will tell you is, with passion comes commitment. So once God puts something in your heart, and you know it's God, because sometimes it doesn't have a way of going away. He'll keep drawing and tugging at you, and again, signs will pop up. People will cross your path. That's in fact how I met you, Miranda. You may know.
Yes,
Um, and so once you start to get the confirmation signs, if God is telling you you need to go forward, you better listen, is all I can say, because
right.
He is there. He will never steer you wrong. And there have been times and seasons, especially throughout this, where I wondered, is this for me? Can I do this? And I've stopped asking those types of questions and just saying, okay, when? Now is the time. And particularly
Right.
have not realized how important health and wellness is during this season of COVID and this coronavirus, this
Right.
crisis. I'm not sure what it will take for you to wake up. So now is the time. What you do now in this season
Yes,
will set
ma'am.
a trajectory for your life, whether it's a change you need to make in your career, your personal life, your health. But
Right.
I promise you, the health part is easy. That's the easiest part to deal with.
Right.
It's again the mind. How strong are you? How committed are you to making a change and seeing a change? So that's where I come in. Um, uh, I'm one of a kind, but I'm not one of a kind. I like to be able to connect with everybody. So this is again something that I think God has laid on my heart. It's a way that I've turned, I think, a ministry into a mission, and I just look forward to meeting more women who are ready to make change.
Awesome. And you know what, like you were saying, I mean, it's just when you're working in your passion, it just comes so natural to you and it brings you joy and happiness. And I think a lot of times with this healthy eating, people have the misconception that it's expensive, but I think it's less expensive now to eat healthy than have to pay a doctor bill or to be in the hospital for days at a time. So it's either your grocery bill now, maybe spending a few extra dollars, and
That's
I found Sprouts. I don't know if people have Sprouts or you can find something comparable in your area, but they're inexpensive. It's kind of like a farmer's market. They have fresh
mhm,
nuts and grains and vegetables and fruit, and they always have, and their meat counters. Grain-fed meats and just
mhm,
very high quality and not high prices. So very good
right.
food, but not high prices. So just research in your area how you can find healthy foods, on a budget, because I know a lot of times we're on a budget, and so it's
Mhm,
but it's doable. You can do this.
it is.
So how can they get in touch with you, or how can they find out more information about Deep Wellness?
Sure. I'm on IG. Again, let me first mention it again. I'm at my in infancy stage of my business. I just received my certification, so everything is not up and running yet. But you can follow me on IG at Deep Wellness NOLA. That's all together. Again, Deep Wellness NOLA. My email is deepwellnessnola@gmail.com. So if you want to reach out to me by email, you can that way as well. And again, I'm just trying to keep it simple. I'm just trying to keep it fun. I'm trying to keep it educational, informative. So I'd appreciate any comments, any feedbacks, any follows, and any ideas that you have. If there's something in particular that you struggle with or that you want to see me address, please let me know. Because again, I'm doing this from my coaching mind, but I need to put myself back into the mind of the client or the person who needs help and figure out what's the problem, what's the struggle, and I'd like to be able to help address it.
Awesome. So we are so grateful for you. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share with everyone. And if you see across the screen, her IG is Deep Wellness Nola. So you can follow her. She posts awesome just suggestions and pictures of things that she's eating, like salads and different things. So if you're not really sure what to have, she provides great resources. So thank you again, Dee Peters, for joining us on Bougie Cyber Happy Hour. So again, ladies and gentlemen, share, invite, reshare, do a watch party, and thank you so much for joining us. And you all have a great, blessed evening. Be encouraged on tonight. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Have a great weekend. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.